So there is one more topic that is about the probability. We have discussed one is probability, another is the probability distribution. So there are two topics under the concept probability. Number one, the elementary probability, and other one is probability distribution, right? So we will be having a discussion on the elementary elements. As you can see on the screen right now, probability was initially developed by Bernoulli. So sometimes he also called as elementary probability as a Bernoulli's probability. And Bernoulli was the person who initiated this idea in 1654, isn't it? And then later on, Thomas Bayes and Laplace, they further the entire concept of probability. And now we have developed and well developed about the probability and probability distribution. Uh, some applications of probability has already been discussed by me. I have already given you some idea in the unit when we were talking about decision making. So most of you might be somewhat familiar with the concept of probability. All right. So what is the probability definition? What is it? Yeah. So chance, and more specifically, we want is a statistical concept, right? That measures the likelihood of something happening. So the chances of a particular thing may happen or not happen is only the probability. So as a small exercise, can you, some of you could share me few events that you face in your daily life that is related. Think of a few seconds, then raise your hand and let that what comes to your mind is the example for your probability. Please raise your hand. Tell me, otherwise I will not be able to pick up. So what is the probability in that? So the chances of getting any particular number from 1 to 6 is a sum of probability. So in the daily life, this is more practical. Daily, every day, you have come to a certain situation. After the limited probability, something may apply to class may happen, may not happen. All right. Anybody else? Think of होगी कि नहीं होगी, ठीक है, और कुछ बताइए. Anybody else? तो प्रोबेबिलिटी से पास ही नहीं पड़ता है. वो तो सर ने बता दिया. और है कुछ वो मैंने बता दिया. आई थिंक आपको कोई चीज चल रहा है बाकी sorry. That's a very great idea. That the person will get up in the so if you separate it doesn't make anything about it. You can note down the name of the book. Have you heard about the name of Sadhguru? So Sadhguru, yeah. So there is a book by Sadhguru Death. So everybody should do that. So I recommend all of you to go through the handbook and then will give you idea about the life. So because he said it's possible that somebody may not wake up in the morning and there's a probability for it. We'll have a small case also on that. So you know that, I mean, by this time you understand, you want to say something. So by this time you all understand that probability is about an event that may occur or may not occur. Okay, okay. So with this basic idea, see, these are few properties. There is nothing much to explain about it. There are few properties of probability. What would be the maximum value of the probability? I just said maximum value. So maximum value is. So what could be the probability values now? What is the range of values that the probability could assume? So what is the meaning of zero? What is meaning of zero? Hold it, please raise your hand. It's not like impossible. It's like it will not never happen. It will never happen. As an outcome of an experiment, it will never happen. And what is one? It will certainly happen. The event will be happening with certainty. And then you can have the whole values integrated. Okay. So probability could either be 0, 1 or a fractional value. Simple. So these are the few properties of probability we have just discussed. Probability can be found only for clearly defined events. Means that unless that event clearly knows what has to be what has to happen, unless that is clearly defined, there is no point in associating any probability. So event should be known to you. If somebody said class happening or not happening, rainfall happening or not happening, life, and then you understand what the thing is. So you should be very clear about the event, where it is back, what is the discussion going on. So event should be very clearly defined and well understood by the people. Then only you can proceed with assigning probabilities to those events. Yes. Shall I move? So properties there is nothing to buy or learn about it. It is well understood and everybody knows it. Right? When we say what is the probability, properties, you write this property. Now, whenever the concept of probability comes, certain terminologies are there that are usually referred to. We commonly use those words. Some people also call the jargons of probability. So there are certain terms that have specific meaning in probability. It is required that you should understand clearly what these terms are. The first term itself is the experiment. You all know what is experiment. Can anybody read me? What is experiment? Who will read? Read me loudly. One person is standing it out loudly. Please.
Probability. Experiment outcomes are not known event experiment. Every experiment has a few favorable outcomes and a few unfavorable outcomes. The third experiment months and Edison had more than 1,000 unsuccessful attempts before he make a successful attempt to invent the life of random experiment.
Yes, that's it. So, what is an experiment? You can now in your own word, in your own word. Please raise your hand. Yeah, please. Sorry. So, whenever you don't know the result, it's an experiment. There's one more thing into it. It's an activity, no? Any activity. An experiment is an activity.
We might decide that may be favorable or not. We may like or not like.
Okay. So in a very simple terms, yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. That's an example. Fine. So any activity, very simple, any activity that has certain outcomes, any activities. For example, the most common example is when you throw a coin, which is when you throw a coin. So throwing the coin is an activity. Hmm? Uh, when somebody give an example of rolling a dice also. So when you throw a dice, throwing the dice is an activity. All right. So any activity, but when you throw a dice, what will be the outcome? That is not known, isn't it? Now, the moment we are able to find out what are the possible sets of outcomes, if these outcomes are not at all known, then we don't call that experiment as a random experiment. For example, when this example is given over here, Thomas Alva had been trying to discover some sort of, but he never knew after doing so many things what will happen was not known. What will ultimately happen was not known. So that was a pure experiment. When the outcome is totally not known, something will happen, but what will be the outcome was not known. That's a pure experiment. But when the same experiment becomes a random experiment, when the set of outcomes are known to you. So now tell me, throwing of the dice is an experiment or a random experiment? Right. All of you are very correct. When the outcomes are known, we don't know which outcome will happen, but the set of outcomes are known. Then the experiment becomes right. So experiment, random experiment. Experiment is an activity that will definitely have some outcome. But what is the set of outcomes is not known to us. Right. So this is how this word random experiment is repeatedly being used in the probability subject. Every time you say that the random experiment happened and this is the outcome, etc. So next term is trial. Now see what is the trial? What is trial? Please read and tell. Please read, understand, and tell me what is understand. The trial is nothing but when you attempt an experiment multiple times, when you attempt one experiment many times, so each time it's a trial because you try to get some outcome. No? So you attempt an experiment, you get some outcome, but that is not what you want. So you again do it, right? So any number of times or any attempt of an experiment is a trial. For example, you wanted to get a heads and you tossed a coin and the outcome was tails. So first trial gave the outcome as tails, but you wanted head. Will you make another trial? You threw the coin once more and watch the outcome. Suppose again this is the tail. Then two trials, what you get? After two trials, what was the outcome? Tails. Then you can attempt a third trial. And in third trial, you may get a hex. So any number of times you attempt a experiment, that is a trial. For example, when you play a game of Ludo, sometimes you get two trials. If you get a six, you get another chance. No, खेला आपने लूडो कभी? कभी नहीं खेला. You know, you also you have played Ludo. So one day we will have Ludo game here, and we'll see who is the winner. ये ऑनलाइन का कल्चर इतना आ गया है, शॉक कुछ अच्छा पहुंच जाता है, जिससे शॉक. But I need to adapt. Everything is online nowadays. So ऑनलाइन लूडो भी होता है. हम लोग ऑनलाइन ही खेलेंगे, अभी तो फिजिकल चल रहा है सब. तो trial you understand what is the meaning of a trial. The next point is event. Now you understand what is a trial. Conducting experiment repeatedly is a number of trials you're doing for the experiment. So what is event? A trial with a clearly defined outcome is an event. So again, experiment, random experiment. Experiment, random experiment, trial, event. Okay. So like this you have to understand. We will be using the term event. We will not be using the word trial many times during our subject. In our probability subject, we will be morely using the term random experiment and event. So conducting a random experiment is the event. Conducting a experiment is the event. Any number of times you conduct the random experiment, that is a event. Or in other words, the trial of a random experiment is known as event. Correct? Is it clear now? Experiment, event. Everybody? So what are the two terms you will be more commonly using? Tell me loudly. Which two terms? Random experiment and events. An event that cannot be easily predicted is a random event. All right. So they're very similar. Event and a random event are almost very same. An event that cannot be easily predicted is a random event. For such events, the probability value is very less. The formation of a rainbow during a rain is a random event. So when the random experiment is conducted and there is outcome, the chances of happening that outcome is very, very low. So that event is known as a random event. In other words, in more simple terms, when we conduct a event and the outcome of event is such that it is very rare. Since the outcome of the event is very rare, we call that event as a random event. Because again, if you try many times that event, that random event may not happen. Okay, because that the probability is low. So it's just a concept to understand an event and a. Sometimes many authors use these two terms interchangeably. They interchange these two words. Event and random events are many times used as synonyms. Okay, so you need not to get confused with it, but this basic idea should be there. कि क्या होता है? Clear up to this much. What is outcome and what is possible outcome? Please read and tell me. पढ़ के बताइए. I'll ask one of you. Okay, sit down. And what is possible outcome? Yeah.
like tossing the coin, we get a hit or tape, and tossing the rolling the die, 6. So everything possible.
So when we conduct a random experiment, as an outcome of the random experiment, since we know the number of outcomes are known to us. Same example as she gave, when you throw a dice. So after throwing a dice, what all the possible outcomes can happen? What will happen? Huh? If you throw a dice, what will happen? You can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. No, this is what will happen. So these are the various possible outcomes. These are the various possible outcomes. So when we conduct a random experiment, all the possible outcomes that may happen are simply called as a possible outcome. And what is outcome? Outcome is the one among the possible outcomes. What is outcome? Outcome is one among all the possible outcomes. So please tell me, I'll ask one of you, when we toss a coin, what are the possible outcomes? Please raise your hand. Please raise your hand. But when you toss an coin, there are 2 outcomes. What are these outcomes? Head and tail. Now, after tossing the coin, you got that head has come. So what will you call this as? The outcome of the event. The outcome of the event. So when we conduct an event, there will be set of outcomes. We call them as the possible outcomes. And one that actually happens is the outcome of the event. So these are very simple concepts. I think there is no much great deal to understand this or comprehend them. But it is just to revise you, make you understand and connect them. You might be knowing them separately in a discrete manner. But now you have to understand these terms in a connected way, in the context of probability theory. So up to this much, everybody is clear? Huh? Everyone? Shall I ask what is the outcome? कौन बताएगा? आप बताइए, what is the outcome? Huh? Or what is the outcome? Possible outcome? और कौन बताएगा? आप बताइए. और कौन बताएगा पॉसिबल आउटकम? आप बताओ. हाँ? Right. Total number of results, outcomes that can happen are the possible outcomes. जैसे कि आपने डाइस फेंका तो पॉसिबल आउटकम क्या है? 1 2 3 4 5 6 6 पॉसिबल आउटकम्स हैं. Please be careful and listen carefully. Sit down. Nobody will tell again. You have to learn yourself. And what happens after the event is the outcome. So possible outcome and the actual outcome are the 2 terms. Possible outcomes and the actual outcome. All right. तो ध्यान दीजिए और नहीं समझे तो पूछ लीजिए. नहीं, इक्वली लाइकली आउटकम्स क्या होता है इसको समझने की कोशिश करिए आप. ध्यान से पढ़िए. प्लीज रीड एवरीबडी एंड आई विल आस्क वन ऑफ यू रैंडमली. प्लीज रीड इट. Read loudly. Can you read? Read loudly.
Such outcomes are the process of putting 36 days The probability of beating any number is
So who will explain what is the likely outcome? What is it? What does it means? इसका meaning क्या है? Yeah.
Like it definitely.
Sure.
So before mentioned the coin, the example of coin, like there's a 50-50 chance of having to. So we can do the same example here.
Correct. Very correct. Equally likely. These are the two terms. No? Equally likely. Likely is the possibility, and equally is the equal possibility. Isn't it? Likely is the possibility, and equally is the equal possibility. So when the possibility of happening any one of the outcomes is equal, when the chances of happening any one of the outcomes is equal, we say it is an equally likely outcome. For example, when you throw the dice, again same example, when you throw the dice, what can happen? Again you tell me what will happen. 1 to 6. Now, what is the chances of happening 1? And what is the chances of happening 5? Equal. So, possible outcomes are 6. And the probability of happening any one outcome is same, equal. All right. So, in all those random experiments, when the chances of happening an outcome are equal, we call them as an equally likely outcomes. तो 1 आने का चांस, 2 आने का चांस, 3 का, 4 का, 5 का, 6 का chances are equal, same and equal, same and equal. So that is why we say it's an experiment, random experiment, whose outcomes are equally likely. Whose outcomes are equally likely. Suppose there is a false, or suppose there is a fake dice on which there is no 6. There is a dice on which by mistake, while manufacturing, number 6 was not casted, not printed. So what is the chances of happening 6? 0. Now considering we are conducting an experiment for a fair dice, is there equal probability of happening 6 also? For this dice it won't happen. No? Chances of getting 6 is 0. And chances of getting 5 is more, 2 by 6. Because of 2, instead of 5 they print, instead of 6 they print 5. 6 of the dice, say there is a number of 6. So that नहीं होगा, why it is not equally likely? Is उसके 2 फेक डाइस है और बाकी 2 है, बाकी 2 है, तो अगर हम इस उसको फेकेंगे तो क्या सारे आपको इक्वल है? क्यों नहीं है? इसके चांसेस डबल हो जाएगा. Now I think only it is clear. What is the likelihood? Is it clear? Sample space. Now we are moving on to terms. Now we are more the integrate terms of quality that are related. Everybody size configure everybody serious. You know, theory, theory. जो possible outcomes है उसी को possible outcomes of a given जो makes the इसको and the first line what is it? Very important. That's important. What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? Repetition of the event. So when you make one attempt, something will come out of it, some of So if you do the event only once, okay, so makes the sample space. If you do just once, so sample है, पहले आपने यहाँ पे देखा था possible outcomes. That is same as the sample space. But suppose you throw the dice 2 times. So each time possible outcomes will be remain constant, but sample space will be double, right? So this way you have to understand sample space is basically the collection of all possible outcomes of multiple trials. If one trial, total outcomes, possible outcomes, multiple times, you collect them together into one set, and that we call it as a sample space. Now these are 2 more terms, and then we will finish it off quickly. The probability event is nothing but when you are able to predict or assign probability to the outcome. When you conduct an experiment, then certain outcomes will happen, right? If you are in a position to assign a probability with your past experience or knowledge, and you can predict that what will happen, then the event that you predict becomes the probable event, because you have assigned the probability to that it will happen. So most of the time managers, forecast or tell about the probable event, and on the basis of that they will make the decision. if you remember, while talking about the decision theory, I spoke about the high, low, and medium demand of some clothes. So if manager says that there will be a high demand based on his past data and experience, the manager tells that there is going to be a high demand. So according to that manager, what is the probable event? High demand is the probable event among the three events, that is high, low, and medium demand. So if I toss a coin, one person who says that tail will come. So he tells that the probable event is tail. Huh? So you remember Sholay picture? So what was the probable event? इतने आदमी थे, वो तो गब्बर था यार। हम सब क्या फर्क इसका रील बनाएंगे मगर आपको याद तो आता है क्या था पिक्चर नहीं देखे क्या लगता है शोले पुरानी पिक्चर है कौन बता सकता है विद कॉन्फिडेंस what was casted on the coin? How many of you choose tail? Raise your hand. How many of you choose tail? Raise your hand. Have you watched movie? Have you ever watched Sholay movie? You? Same no choice. How many of you have not seen the Sholay movie? You have not seen. You also have not seen. So you people are out of the discussion. How many of you say it was the coin was casted with the heads? With the heads? Okay, how many of you we don't know? All of you. Both the sides. So whenever one of the actor used to throw the coin, only Jay. When Jay used to throw the coin, for sure he knew what is the probability of happening ahead. Okay, so his probable event was heads. Just making class lighter and more enjoyable, I just took this example because it was getting monotonous. Everybody was getting engaged. What is event? What is probability, and so on. So it's nothing great. It's every day it is happening in our life. Everywhere it is happening. Even in movie also, there's a lot of probability things happening. So when we are able to tell among the possible outcomes which outcome will happen, that becomes what? Probable event. And then just opposite of that, what is impossible event? Somebody said impossible event before. What is impossible event? Can you give an example? Yeah. Please clap for him. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. Yeah, I had a learning. I should take examples from what is already now. Other examples, they are definitely. Huh? Okay, they are few friends who have not watched many movies. So I suggest them to watch more movies. Then in India, I mean, it's like, everyday activity. People watch a lot of movies. So, but that answer was absolutely perfect. Because when the coin has only heads on both sides, then it is impossible to get a tail. So that's an impossible event. Now a little complex term starts coming. Complementary events, as you see, it is very easy to understand that two events which are exactly opposite to each other. Okay, two events which are just opposite to each other. If one will happen, other will not happen. So in going again, if tails happens, that is the other outcome that will not happen. So they are complementary to each other. If one happens, other will not happen. If other happens, the first will not happen. All right. The equation below, probability of A plus probability of A complementary. कैसे पढ़ेंगे इसको? Now, ये दोनों सेम ही है, एक अगले दिन हटा देते हैं. Any idea? लिखने में बिजी हो गया, पढ़ना छोड़ के. कोई कीवर्ड है जो डिफरेंशिएट कर रहा है दोनों टर्म्स? This is perfect answer. Perfect. This is what is expected. You just got the right point. This is the basic difference. Opposite and mutually exclusive. Now, technically, there may not be much difference. Technically, but conceptually there is. So, in case of a coin, they are mutually exclusive also, as well as complementary also, because there are only two things. So one will happen, other will not happen. Two things only. But for mutually exclusive case, there will be more than more than two outcomes. So in case of throwing a dice, fair dice, if 6 happens, if the outcome is 6, then can 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 happen? No. So all the outcomes are mutually exclusive. They are not opposite. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is not opposite to 6. Mutually complementary events occur only in case of when there is only two outcomes. अगर सिर्फ दो outcomes होंगे, then only the concept of complementary events is applicable. But concept of mutually exclusive in events in experimental experiments when there are more than 2 events. Any doubt? Please ask. So म्यूचुअली एक्सक्लूसिव मतलब एक अगर हो गया तो बाकी नहीं होंगे, ठीक है ना? Now we have these 3 types of theories of probability. So we'll discuss about this probability in the next class. Huh? कल की क्लास सुनी होगी, मैं बाहर हूँ कहीं पे. After that. The type itself is an example. When mutually exclusive का example कोई दे सकता है? म्यूचुअली एक्सक्लूसिव एग्जांपल को दे सकता है डाइस और कॉइन को छोड़ के. Other than dice and coin, any other example? So we have covered various terms that are related with the elementary probability. Okay, these terms are important to understand the theories of probability. So unless you understand them, you may not understand the theories of probability and may not be able to solve the small problems that we will attempt in subsequent classes. So my suggestion is, might have noted down these terms at least. So please try to revisit them from internet, from wherever, whichever resource you want to, and brush up your understanding about these terms. And based on your basic understanding, we will be talking about the 3-4 different theories of probability that are very popular. And after that, we will solve problems on each of them. And then we will talk about the few laws of probability. There are mainly 2 laws of probability: addition laws of probability and multiplicative law of probability. And for that, we will learn a little bit of set theory also, little bit. What is union, intersection and all. So learning probability is fun and it will be more exciting if you brush up yourself through internet. You are all having mobile phone internet connection. Just go through what is set theory, what is probability, what is event and all. Just learn yourself. Once you learn, you will be able to understand and enjoy them in a better way. So with this, thank you very much. But I suggest